Hello, I'm Kads and welcome to today's video. So of course the Gnut fusion is in full swing, and yes, we are going for him. I definitely do want him on my account, but today we're focusing on the dreaded summon rush. As predicted in my fusion plan video, and if you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. I provide some pretty useful tips as far as how to get this fusion for yourself, even as a pure free-to-play like myself. But as predicted, we do have the rare here, the Void Rare at 2150, which is a pretty static value. It's been consistently 2150 in all summon rushes for, I want to say, like the past year and a half at least. Way back when, before that, it used to be around 1750, so a little bit cheaper, 3 sacreds and some mystery shards, but it's been 2150, pretty static for the past at least a year and a half. I also did make the prediction that the epic, if you wanted to go for it, would be a relatively high cost. I thought it was going to be at the 4925 mark, but it turns out it is at the 5400 mark, which is the first time in Raid's history that they've ever put it here. However, I kind of think it's somewhat reasonable because Gnut is a ridiculously broken champion, broken in a good way. And so if you really do want to get this epic, and getting the epic allows you to skip 4 of the events for the rares, then I think it should cost, not necessarily 11 sacreds, but it should cost you more because you're bypassing a bunch of events that you could probably easily do. But I think the important thing to take away here is that the pattern is not that there's an overall inflation of the requirements as far as fusions are concerned, because Jetney the Giant as well as Loriaka, who are relatively underwhelming or poorly received by the community, were all the way back down at 3500, and basically no one did those fusions anyways. And so I think they just decide to ramp it up when it's a good fusion, when they know it's someone that people actually want. But anyways, the plan here of course is to get to the rare at 2150. You can see that I've already pre-pulled the mystery shards up to 150, well 160 overshot slightly because we're champion trading, but all we need left is to pull 4 sacred shards, and then we will get ourselves this lovely rare so we can continue to champion train him as well. So if we hop over to the portal here, we can look at the total shard count. Currently we have 433 on the ancients, 196 on the void, and a whopping 72 on the sacreds. As is tradition, I do always like to show you guys my mercy tracker, the way I track it with the spreadsheet here, so you can see that we are fresh off a recent legendary, and so I don't expect to get a legendary. I say that every time regardless of what happens, but I don't expect to get one, so I am planning on getting 4 epics here, but you never know, we'll see what happens. As far as who I'm looking for, unfortunately the list has not changed in a long time. So Xavier or Eleanor, if I were to get a legendary, Valkyrie and Molly Tankard, but focusing more on the epics, the fusion epic would be kind of dope. That would allow me to skip events for free, air quotes, but Crowd in the blue, because I do want him for probably hard mode Fire Knight, but definitely at least for faction wars, and any Sylvan Watchers will do, because I do need some more faction guardians for that faction. And since I brought up the Sylvan Watchers, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the faction crypt for the Sylvan Watchers is here, and it will be opening in I think 4 days time, at least at the time of this recording. If you guys were curious, the team I will be running consists of White Dryad Nia here, support build and regen. We have Rurella here in a DPS build. We have Mr. Edardahi, our debuffer, in a DPS build, a little bit fast as well. And we have Wirenon the Silken as our reviver support. Ideally, the 5th champion would be Crowd in the blue, as I mentioned earlier, as our CC champion. But in the meantime, just to get these stars on the early stages, I'm going to just throw in Oella, probably put in some gear on her, previous fusion champion, just to get the 3-star for the content. So hopping back into the portal here, we are ready to get into the pulls. We've got the space, we've got a little bit of cash. I need to work on that because there's an artifact enhancement coming, but hopefully we've got some luck as well. Let's get into it here. 4 sacreds, here we go. Sacred number 1. Come on, fusion epic. That is not it. We've got the reindeer. Rain Beast used to be a menace. He was the UDK before it was cool, way back in the day, with the continuous heals on the A1. He was Force Affinity, so he was just super tanky, and you couldn't kill him with the starter champions, and he would just perpetually heal himself every turn, and he would just never die. Kind of like a UDK nowadays with all the stone skin in the game. But unfortunately, he's basically useless in today's day and age, so let's carry on with sacred number 2. Here we go. Come on, fusion epic. We do want the Lilithan, or whatever his name is. I forgot. That's an Aaron S. Aaron S. I don't know how to say that, to be honest. Nothing much notable about her. I think she does have the increased buffs, or increased duration of all debuffs on the target, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown, so you're better off with like a Dark Kale, who's a Doom Tower epic. Moving on to the next shard, we are going to get, hopefully, the fusion epic Crowd in the blue, and it is Chinaru, who is a relatively underwhelming single target Shadowkin champion, so not much to say about her. I guess she has Weaken and You can kind of do cool stuff with the A3, but not really cool. So definitely going in the vault, or probably a chicken, honestly, as far as her, because I think I have dupes. But the last and final sacred for the summon rush for Gnut is going to be another epic, as expected, and it is Sylvan, who does have decreased defense on an AoE if you really want to use her for the Fraction Crypt. However, it is only an 80% chance when booked, which I am not a huge fan of, because there are tons and tons of epics who have it on a 100% chance, but nonetheless, she can definitely do the job. So as expected, we pulled 4 sacreds and we got 4 epics, so didn't really expect much more than that, and we can hop over to the summon rush because we can check our math, and boom, there we go. Tree Shield Knot has been acquired on my account. I guess I should mention that Tree Shield Knot himself is a pretty useful champion if you want to use him in Faction Wars, because he does have that 2-person revive. So I'm going to use Wyron the Silken, as I mentioned, but he can definitely do the job as well as the reviver. It is the ignore defense boss, or the red boss, so you're definitely going to need some sort of revival or ally protection in order to survive his hits. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys were curious, I'm basically about halfway through the fusion, and that's where you should be if you're on pace. I don't have any of the epics because we're saving those fusions here for the champion chase to get those points, at least 750, and we just got the Tree Shield Knot there as well. So we have 7 of the rares, and then 7 of the force rares and 1 of the void rares. As I mentioned, my focus for today at least will be on champion training, especially with the new rare here, getting him up to level 30 and 40 and ascended. But Ice Golem is starting soon, and I will definitely be hopping in that dungeon because I am in dire need of some provoke pieces and some reflex pieces. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this one. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.